Okay, so last time, ang na-discuss natin sa ating discussion ay yung solving for cell potential. Another term for cell potential is the voltage, no? So how do we solve for the cell potential or the standard potential? That's E naught cell equals E naught cathode minus E naught anode, no? Yung circle sa taas, meaning nun, not, no? Spelling nun ay N-O-U-G-H-T. When you see a not, ibig sabihin nun, you are at standard state, no? And kapag sinabi nating standard state, ang pressure ay equal sa 1 atm, ang temperature ay 25 degrees Celsius, at ang concentration ay equal sa 180, hindi siya 1 atm, 1 molar or 1 mole per liter. Okay? So yan yung mga condition for standard conditions or standard states, no? The pressure is 1 atm, temperature 25, concentration 1 molar. Okay. Siguro you may ask, no, sir, what if hindi ganyan yung concentration? Mamaya yon, di-discuss natin yon. Okay? But for now, we all assume that the pressure and the concentrations are equal to 1. Okay? So yan. So that's the equation. Just identify sino yung anode, sino yung cathode. Then look for their SRP values here. Okay? Then you plug it dito sa equation natin. Okay? Pagka-plug in mo na yan, if that is positive, then that means it is galvanic. It also means that this is spontaneous. Okay? Pag positive, galvanic yon, ibig sabihin it will generate voltage and the reaction is spontaneous. Okay? If the E cell is negative, on the other hand, that is not galvanic, rather it is electrolytic. Okay? Meaning it is non-spontaneous. Di-discuss natin tong mga spontaneous, non-spontaneous kasi we already had an idea about thermodynamics, no? So may thermodynamics din dito sa electrochem, pero madali lang, okay? So yan. So whenever you have a positive E cell, that's galvanic, meaning the reaction is spontaneous, and negative for electrolytic cells, which is non-spontaneous. Yung battery natin, ano kaya yung kanyang E cell? Positive o negative? Batteries. Dali. Anyone? Itong cellphone battery ko, ano yung E cell niya? Positive o negative?
Positive.
Positive, no? Positive yan. Kasi, kapag negative yan, i-charge mo pa yon para gumana. Okay? Pero, kahit hindi mo i-charge yung cellphone mo, gagana naman yan, no? As long as kaya niya ayun, nagbi-blink yan yung sa infrared camera. Galing, no? Anyway, so, gagana pa rin to, no? Kahit hindi mo i-charge, no? Pero pag nalobat yan, doon mo lang kailangan i-charge, no? So, kapag charge mo yung cellphone mo, yun na yung electrolytic cell, no? You are providing energy para ma-full charge siya ulit, no? Then, kapag full charge na siya, hugutin mo yung battery, galvanic na siya ulit, no? So, na siya, papaganahin na niya yung circuitry nitong cellphone mo. Okay? So, yan. Yung batteries natin, it would be either galvanic or electrolytic, depending on the situation, no? Kapag full charge ka, nagdi-discharge yung cellphone mo, galvanic yon. Ibig sabihin, naglalaro ka lang ng ML, no? Nanonood ng online class, galvanic yon. Pero, pag charge mo to, the reverse reaction happens, no? Nafu-full charge yung cellphone mo. So, electrolytic yan. No? So, ayan. So, magandang example dito parati yung cellphone batteries natin. And, sa Sabado, didiscuss natin yung iba't ibang uri ng batteries pa. Okay? So, anyway, ito mga na-solve na natin to. Basically, just identify the anode and the cathode. Then, plug in their E cell values dito. No? Plug in mo lang yung values nila dito. Okay? So, I will not go into much details kasi na-discuss na natin yon. Anyway, so proceed tayo with the next part, more on the SRP table. Okay? So let us try to interpret the SRP table kasi marami tayong pwedeng magawa dito. Okay? By just looking at the table, marami siyang pwede sabihin sa atin. Okay? So first one is ito. The more positive the E naught is, the greater the tendency for the substance to be reduced. And the strength of the substance as an oxidizing agent increases. Ano meaning nun? Okay. So, ang baseline natin dito sa SRP table ay yung 0. Parang ito yung baseline natin. 0 yan eh. Okay. So, it creates a divide dito sa ating table. Okay. So, yan yung baseline. Okay. And may divide yan. Dalawa. Isa sa taas, isa sa baba. Ano meaning ng sinabi ko dyan sa statement number 1? Sabi dyan, kapag mas positive daw ang E-cell mo, ibig sabihin, mas malakas yung tendency niya na ma-reduce. Okay? So, most likely, itong mga species sa taas, they are likely to be found at the cathode. Okay? Sila yung mga reduced. No? Okay? So, sila yung madalas na reduced or nasa cathode. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nun, makakita ka lang ng isang chemical equation. Okay. So, makakita ka lang ng chemical equation. Kunwari, ito. Mamaya, magbibigay ako example. Wala pala dito. Okay. So, kunwari, binigyan kayo ng dalawang chemicals, no? Alamin mo sino yung oxidation, sino yung reduction without anything others said, no? Pwede mo malaman na kapag nandito yung chemical species mo, pag nasa taas siya, ibig sabihin, most likely, sila yung cathode. Okay? And yung mga nasa baba, sila yung most likely na oxidize, meaning sila yung nasa anode. Okay? So, magbibigay ako ng ganyan sa quiz. No? For example, you have a cell containing, kunwari, let me write the problem. Ano kaya application niya? Kunwari, you have a galvanic cell of Ag plus and Na, hindi, sige. Cu2 plus. Okay. Kunwari, you are asked this, no? You have a galvanic cell of Ag plus and Cu2 plus. Sino dyan yung anode, sino yung cathode, no? Okay? So, ganito lang. Just look at the SRP values, no? Hanapin mo sino yung nasa taas, sino yung nasa baba. Okay? O, kunwari, Ag plus, no? Tignan mo. Dito sa table na to, ang Ag plus ay, eto, nasa taas. Okay? Ang Cu2 plus ay nasa baba, no? Nasa baba ba? Ito, nasa baba niya. Okay. Okay. So, it seems pare sila nasa taas, no? Pero kung sino yung nasa pinakataas, siya yung ating cathode, no? Okay, so kunwari, you have a galvanic cell of Ag plus, Cu2 plus. Ito yung Ag, ito yung Cu. So, nasa taas yung Ag kaysa sa Cu. Ibig sabihin nun, yung Ag natin, ito yung cathode natin. Okay? Automatic yon. Okay? Kung sino yung nasa taas ng table, siya yung cathode for a galvanic cell. Ibig sabihin, yung copper ay yung anode. Okay? So, magbibigay ako ng ganyang item sa ating final exam, no? Ganyan lang yung nakalagay sa sentence. A galvanic cell of Ag plus, calculate for the E cell. Okay? Kapag wala na akong ibang details na sinabi, all you have to do is to check, no? Sino yung nasa taas ng table. Nakita natin yung Ag plus, siya yung nasa taas ng table kaysa sa copper. Ibig sabihin, the silver is the cathode and the copper is the anode. No? So kung sino yung nasa taas, siya yung cathode. Sino yung nasa baba, siya yung anode. Okay? And then you can proceed solving for the cell potential. Ayun lang meaning niyan, ha? Kung sino nasa taas, sila yung cathode. Sino yung nasa baba, sila yung anode. Okay? So, ranking lang. Irarank mo lang sila. Okay? So, another extension of this is the diagonal rule. Okay? Kunwari, you have this series of cell potential values. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, kung sino yung mga nasa taas, sila yung cathode natin. Sila yung reduction. And sino yung mga nasa baba, sila yung ating anode, yung ating oxidation. Anong meaning netong Anong meaning netong diagonal rule? Sabi dito, yung nasa top left species daw, they will react with the bottom right species, na. Ibig sabihin nun, ganito. Kunwari, ito yung top left natin, cerium 4+. Saan daw siya magre-react? Sa diagonal niya, sa bottom left, no? So, ibig sabihin, ayan. So, yan yung diagonal na sinasabi dyan. Okay, so ano meaning uli nito? Etong daw, cerium 4+, this will serve as our reduction reaction. And yung kanyang mau-oxidize ay ito. Itong Ag, Hg, tin, nickel, aluminum. Okay? So, this will react to this, no? Hindi dito sa baba. Itong nasa side niya, hindi. Itong nasa right side. Okay? Kasi take note na kung ito ay reduction, dapat ito ma-oxidize into positively charged species, no? So, yun lang yung parang idea lang dito sa diagonal rule. Yung nasa top left, that will react with the bottom right species. Okay? So, kunwari, you have silver. Kanino siya magre-react? Silver plus. Kanino siya magre-react? E di kay mercury, tin, nickel, aluminum. So, doon lang siya magre-react sa bottom diagonal niya. Will it react with cerium 3+? Will it react with that? No. No ang sagot dyan. Okay? So, paano ko nasabing no? Pwede mo isolve yung cell potential, no? Pero di ko na gagawin. Okay, pag sinolve mo yung cell potential niya, negative yung value nun, meaning non-spontaneous. Okay? So, ang idea lang dito sa diagonal rule is yung species on the left will react with the species on the right na nasa baba niya. Okay? Kunwari, you have Hg22+, saan yan magre-react? Eh di dito na lang, sa tin, nickel, aluminum. It will no longer react with Ag and cerium. Always sa bottom right yung reaction niya. Okay? Kasi if it is the other way around, negative yung isel na makukuha mo dyan. Okay? So, I will no longer show it, no? Pero you can try it on your own. Na makikita mo na ang isel ay positive, no? And later, may activity tayo for that, no? Kunwari, you are given this series sa sa final exam. Kunwari, saan magre-react si tin? Magre-react yan sa nickel and aluminum na lang. Okay? Doon na lang siya magre-react. Nickel and aluminum. Hindi na kay cerium, hindi na kay Ag, hindi na kay mercury. Doon na lang sa dalawang nasa baba. Kunwari, you are given this, nickel 2+. Saan siya magre-react? Eh di sa bottom right na lang. Kay aluminum na lang. Hindi na dito sa mga nasa taas. Okay? So, yun lang yung idea sa diagonal rule. No? The species on the bottom, on the top left will react with the species on the bottom right. Okay? So, top left, bottom right ang reaction. Always pa-diagonal. Okay? Never the other way around. Okay? Mamaya may example pa tayo dyan para mas makita nyo. Number 3, changing the stoichiometric coefficient of the half cell does not affect the E because it is an intensive property. Okay. Kunwari, you have Ag, Ag plus electron Ag. Ano E cell niya? 0.8 volts. Okay, so yan yung E cell niya. E kunwari, nag-balancing ka ng redox reaction. Nilagyan mo yan ng 2, 2, 2. Ibig sabihin ba nun, sir, times 2 din yung E cell? Hindi, no? Kasi intrinsic property yan, no? Ang water ba kapag times 2 mo yung dami, magiging twice din yung density niya? Hindi, no? Kasi ang density ng water is 1 gram per ml. Same as with the cell potential, no? Intrinsic property yan. Ibig sabihin, it does not depend on the quantity of the substance, no? Kesyo onti lang yan, isang atom lang yan, o marami, isang mole ng atoms, no? So, same pa rin yung E-cell nila. So, para siyang density, no? Yung density ng isang patak ng tubig ay same sa density ng isang galon na tubig, no? Same lang. So, stoichiometric coefficients does not affect the E-cell value. Okay, so number 4 naman, the sign of the E changes but its magnitude remains the same when we reverse the reaction. O kunwari, baliktarin ko yan, no? I have Ag to Ag plus and electron. So, baliktad yung ating equation. So, ibig sabihin nun, the E cell value must be reversed, no? Maging baliktad yung kanyang E cell value. Okay? So, magre-reverse yan. So, kapag flip mo yung equation, mag-flip din yung sign ng ating E cell. Okay? Pero itong 4, baka malito kayo, no? Kasi, di ba sinabi ko last time sa inyo, for the anode specifically, sabi ko sa anode reaction, pag nagsosolve tayo ng E-cell, wag nyo pansinin kung baliktad yung equation. Di ba sinabi ko yun sa last video. Okay. Bakit, no? Kasi, dalawa talaga yung equation for solving for cell potential. Let me give you an insight, no? Dalawa yung equation na ginagamit for solving E-cell. Merong E cathode minus E anode, at meron ding equation na E oxidation plus E reduction. Okay? So ayan. You have this equation na ayusin ko lang. E reduction plus E oxidation. Okay? May makikita kayong ganito sa Google, kaya sinama ko yun sa discussion para mas maging clear tayo. Okay? Bakit ito yung equation na ginagamit natin dito? Ba't hindi ko tinuro tong isa? Okay. Itong isa kasi, ang ganap dito is, you have to consider kung baliktad yung equation. Dito yan papasok. You have to consider whether the reaction is reversed. Okay? And when you reverse the reaction, magbabaliktad yung sign ng ating E-cell. Okay? So, itong equation yon. Okay? Kunwari, nakita mo yung anode, yung oxidation, baliktad equation. So, babaliktarin mo E-cell nun. However, for simplicity, we will just use this equation na lang. Bakit? Na-take into account na kasi yung flipping ng equation. Okay? Tinake into account na niya with that negative sign. Ibig sabihin nun, you don't have to worry anymore kung baliktad yung equation sa anode. No? Kasi this negative sign will automatically flip the sign. Okay? Okay? So, yun lang yung idea dito. Ito talaga yon, red plus oxidation. However, because we know that for anode, the reaction is reverse, no? Included na siya dito sa negative sign na yan. Okay? Para hindi ka na mag-worry sa kung baliktad siya o hindi. All you have to do is to copy the E cell. Okay? Or the E value. No? Yun yung sinabi ko last time. Huwag nyo na pansinin kung baliktad yung equation. Okay? Pero syempre, baka may curious sa inyo na Google, baka isipin nyo mali tinuro ko. Hindi, no? Same lang yun. Ang nangyari kasi dito sa equation na to, we already take into account the reverse reactions for the anode. Okay? Taken into consideration na siya. That's why you have a negative sign here. Okay? So that when you plug in the E cell of the oxidation, automatically, if-flip ng negative sign yung symbol niya. Okay? So, yun lang ha. Alam ko may nag-google sa inyo ng ganun. Okay? So, dati na-confuse din ako ng student ako dito. Pero, because of this, no? Because of this number na naging clear sa akin. No? I don't know sa inyo. Pero, ayun ha. Dati kasi binigay sa amin ng prof namin 2. Hindi ko alam kung ano equation gagamitin ko. Kaya ang ginawa ko sa class ko, isa lang yung binibigay kong equation. Then kung ma-discover nyo tong isang equation, I can explain. So, ayan, na-explain ko na siya dito. So, For our typical E-cell calculation solving, we don't have to worry anymore if the reaction is reversed because that is already taken into consideration. Itong negative sign na to, ito na yung nag-take care dito sa number 4 na to. Okay? So, nire-reverse na niya agad yung sign, no, when the reaction is flipped. Okay? Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, wag na kayong mag-worry masyado. Okay? Kung baliktad yung equation, kopyahin nyo na lang yung E-cell. I-plug in nyo na lang. Okay? So, ganun lang. No? So, again, the sign of E changes, but the magnitude remains the same when we reverse the reaction. Do we have to worry about this? Hindi na. Kasi ito na yun. No? Andito na yun sa negative sign. Yun yung sa statement number 4. Okay? So anyway, practice pa tayo ng E-cell determination. Siguro ipapaprobset ko to pero magsasagot ako ng isa. Okay. So hindi lang E-cell yung gusto ko i-solve nyo dito, paki-balance na rin. Ito probset to ha. Ayan, probset yan. Ito, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so ilan yan? 5. Okay. So sagutan ko lang yung A. Recall lang tayo paano uli mag-balance and paano mag-solve ng E-cell. Okay? So sabi ko sa inyo, kung sino nasa left, sila yung anode. Ito yung anode. Sino nasa right, yun yung cathode. No? So for the anode reaction, that's zinc to zinc 2 plus. Balance that with electrons. You add 2 electrons on the right side. For the cathode, ang reaction natin ay Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus. Left to right parati yung basa. Zinc to zinc 2 plus, Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus. Okay? Then, saka ka na mag-balance. So, I add electron dito sa left. Before I combine them, you make sure that the electrons are balanced. Okay? So, yan, balanced na yung ating electrons. So, the overall equation is zinc plus 2Fe3 plus producing zinc 2 plus 2Fe2 plus. Ngayon, ano yung E-cell niya? Okay, ano yung E-cell? Tingin tayo dito. Zinc is zinc. Asan yung zinc? Ayan, 0.76 negative 0.76 volts. And for the iron 2 plus 3 plus system, iron 2 plus 3 plus 0.77 positive. Okay, mapapansin nyo, itong zinc equation ay baliktad dito sa nasa table. Pero sabi ko nga sa inyo, you don't have to worry anymore dito sa sinabi sa statement 4. Huwag na kayo mag-worry kasi it is already taken into consideration sa ating equation. Itong negative sign na yon, ito yung sa statement number 4. Kasi tignan mo, yung zinc nasa left side, yung zinc 2 plus nasa right side. Dito, yung zinc 2 plus nasa left side. Asan yan? Ayan, yung zinc 2 plus nasa left side, yung zinc nasa right side. So, baliktad yung equation. Ibig sabihin, dapat baliktad tong E-cell natin. Okay. Pero sabi ko nga sa inyo, wag nyo na i-consider yon. Kasi yung equation natin, siya na yung bahala doon mag-flip ng sign. Okay. Yung negative sign na yung bahala mag-flip doon. Okay? So, yun. So, kaya ang ginagawa natin, hindi na natin pinapalitan yung sign nito as is na. Okay? Kasi yung equation na natin yung nagko-consider doon. Okay? So, that's E cat minus E anode. Okay? So, itong negative sign, ito yung mag-flip na to. Okay? So, yan yung mag-flip niyan. Ayun lang. Baka kasi may nag-google sa inyo. No? And that's okay lang because kaya naman ma-explain kung bakit. Okay? Okay, so the E-cell is 1.53 volts. And again, ganun lang mag-solve ng ganyan lang mag-solve ng E-cell. So I hope na hindi nyo nakalimutan. Baka ma-confuse uli kayo dito sa sinabi natin sa statement 4. Ito talaga yon. You have to reverse when your equation is reversed. However, using this equation, you don't have to worry about that. Okay? Wag na kayo mag-worry. Okay? Just copy whatever is in the table. Yung flipping ng sign kasi, that is given by the negative sign na. Okay? Yan. Siya na yung bahala mag-flip. Ayan, tignan nyo. Negative times negative. Magiging positive, di ba? Okay. So, yan. So, siya na bahala mag-flip sa sign. Okay? So, wag mag-worry ha. Kasi baka mamaya mag-ano pa kayo, magkaroon ng matindihang pag-iisip, no? Huwag niyo na isipin masyado kasi yung negative sign na bahala doon sa flipping. And emphasize ko lang uli, ha? Okay. So anyway, for this next problem, ito sagutan ko to lahat. Hindi ko to sasagutan lahat. Okay. Pero kasama to sa prob set. Di ko sasagutan lahat. Pero bigyan ko kayo idea how to answer this. Ito yung diagonal rule na sinasabi natin kanina. Ang sabi natin sa diagonal rule, the species on the top left will react to the species on the bottom right. No? Ibig sabihin, ito, magre-react kanino? Dito, 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 pati doon. Okay? So, ito. So, si iron, ito, saan siya magre-react? Di sa bottom right niya. Ito, 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 ito. Hindi kasama yan. Okay? Bottom right eh. Ito pa. Si iodine, saan siya magre-react? So, siya ay magre-react sa bottom right. No? Ito yung bottom right, bottom right, bottom right. Okay? So, dun na lang siya sa tatlo magre-react. Okay? Emphasize ko muna to bago tayo magsagot. Ito, saan siya magre-react? Dito na lang sa dalawa, sa bottom right. No? Hindi na dito sa mga nasa taas. Okay? So, ngayon, apply natin yan dito sa problem na to. Sasagutan ko to pero sagutan nyo pa rin sa prob set para may bonus points kayo. Kunwari, ito yung tanong, will lead reduce Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus? Ang isang way to rephrase this word is, will this react with this? Okay. Will this react with Fe3 plus? Okay. So ito yung another way to rephrase this sentence. Will this react with this? Will lead react with Fe3 plus? So, hanapin mo dito, asan yung lead? Ito yung lead. Hanapin mo yung Fe3 plus. Ito. Does it follow the diagonal rule? Will lead react with Fe3 plus? If it follows the diagonal rule, diagonal downwards to the right, no? Ibig sabihin yan, magre-react sila. Okay? Kasi sabi natin, this will react to this. So, ibig sabihin, this will react with this as well, no? Parang binaliktad lang natin. Kanina, ito, magre-react dito. Ngayon, ito, magre-react ba siya dito? Yes, no? Same lang yan kasi naka-diagonal down naman siya. Okay? So, that will react with this, no? Yan. So, yun yung sagot dito. Yes, it will react with Fe3 plus because it follows the diagonal rule. It follows the diagonal rule. Ano ba yung itsura ng diagonal natin? Top right to bottom left. Top left, bottom right. Okay? Top left, bottom right. Okay. So, yan yung diagonal natin. Pag nakaganyan siya na pattern, ibig sabihin may reaction dyan. Otherwise, walang reaction. Okay? So, top left, bottom right, may reaction. So, itong dalawa, it follows the diagonal. So, ibig sabihin, magre-react sila. You can solve for the E cell. No? Paano sinasolve yung E cell pag ganyan? Okay? Sabi natin, itong nasa taas, ito yung ating reduction. So, yan yung ating cathode. No? Okay. So, sa anode, no? So, ibig sabihin, itong nasa baba, ito yung anode automatically. And we know that anode is oxidation, so kailangan yung electron nasa right side. So, babalik ta rin natin yung equation na yan. Okay? So, anything on the bottom side, no? Yun yung binabaliktad yung equation kasi sila yung oxidation. Kailangan yung electron nasa right side, no? So, babalik ta rin mo yung equation mo. Okay? So, you balance the equation. That will give you the final equation, 2Fe3 plus lead producing 2Fe2 plus Pb2 plus. So, ayan yung reaction for this, no? Lead reacting with Fe3 plus. Ito yung reaction na yun. Okay? So, kung sino yung nasa bottom right, sila yung anode. And if you're going to write the equation, you have to flip this, no? Kailangan yung electron nasa right. Kasi siya yung oxidation, siya yung anode, no? So, kailangan nasa right side yung electron. Okay? So, ganun lang. Another item na sasagutan ko. Itong 6. Will iodide reduce lead 2 plus? Okay? Will iodide reduce lead 2 plus? Will this react with this? Okay? So, does it follow the diagonal rule? Hindi, no? Kasi ang sabi natin, top left, bottom right, no? So, kailangan top left, bottom right yung reaction. Okay? Ito, top right, bottom left. Baliktad siya sa diagonal, no? Kailangan ang diagonal always pa ganon, hindi pa ganon. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, this will not react, no? Hindi yan magre-react. Okay? Hindi yan magre-react. Okay? So, the I minus will not react with lead 2 plus. Okay? Siguro you may ask why, no? Kasi, pag you solve for the cell potential, that will be negative, no? Magiging negative yan. Okay? Pero since hindi naman natin kailangan ng solving for the cell potential, then okay na yung basta matandaan nyo yung diagonal rule. Okay? Ganito lang yung ganap sa finals. Just remember, top left reacts with bottom right. Okay? Top left, ito yung cathode. Bottom right, ito yung anode. So, hindi pwede baliktad yung direction ng diagonal. They will not react. Okay? So, ito. Another item. Sasagutan nyo pa rin to, pero sinabi ko na yung sagot. Pampa-bonus points lang. Which ions can be reduced by lead, no? Okay. Saan to pwede mag-react? Okay. So, saan nga ba siya pwede mag-react? Top left, bottom right. Si lead 2 plus si lead yung bottom right, no? Ibig sabihin, it can react with the top left. Okay. Saan siya pwede mag-react? Dito, ito yung top left niya. Yan. Ano pa yung top left? Ito. Ano pa yung top left? Ayun. So, doon siya pwede mag-react. Okay? So, allowed yung mga yon. Basta top left. Nasa taas, tas nasa left. Ito yung mga ions na pwede niya i-reduce. Okay? Ion lang pala, sorry. Ang iodide ay hindi ion. Pero it can still react with lead. No? Okay? So, it can still react with this. So, always yung diagonal, kailangan ganito itsura. Pag hindi ganyan yung itsura, no reaction. Binibigay ko na yung sagot na. Pero, mag-reflect pa kayo on your own. Okay? So, which metals can be oxidized by Fe3+? Hanapin mo Fe3+. Ito yon. Saan siya pwede mag-react? Top left, bottom right. So, dito siya pwede mag-react. Dito din. Dito din. Doon din. Okay? So, anything on the bottom right, dun siya magre-react. Pero since ang tanong ay metal, edi ang susulat nyo ay lead, cadmium, and manganese. Hindi kasama yung iodide, ion yan eh. Okay? So, ganun lang yung diagonal rule. Top left, bottom right, sila yung magre-react. Okay? Pag iba yung direction ng diagonal, iba yung position ng ions, molecules, hindi sila magre-react. Okay? So, yung ganap nito sa final exam, ganyan lang din. Bibigay ako nito. Tapos, ang tanong dyan, kanino to magre-react? E di, sa bottom right. Kanino to magre-react? E di sa top left. Okay? Ganun lang. So, always yung diagonal yung kailangan mo i-consider. So, hindi ko naman papasolve na yung A cell. I want you to know the ano nangyari. Ay, hindi naka full screen. Teka lang. Anong slide yun? Nakalimutan ko tuloy. Ayan. Ayun lang ha. So again, diagonal rule, top left, bottom right. Sila lang yung nagre-react. Okay? Top left, bottom right. Any other directions are not allowed. No? Hindi pwede yung top right, bottom left. Walang reaction yan. Hindi rin pwede top left, bottom left. Hindi rin pwede yon. Hindi rin pwede top right, bottom right. Hindi rin pwede. Ang kailangan lang na reaction ay top left, bottom right. No? Okay. So always pag ganun lang yung diagonal. Kaya tawag dyan diagonal rule. Kasi basta naka-diagonal siya, may reaction. The diagonal is this na. Kailangan pag ganun yung diagonal. Okay? So ano na lang, yun lang yun talaga, no? So kayo na lang bahala to memorize that, no? Okay. So anyway, side kwento lang naman yung diniscuss ko kanina. Okay. So let's proceed with this, no? The thermodynamics, no? Kasi sabi nga natin kapag galvanic, spontaneous, kapag electrolytic, non-spontaneous. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabing spontaneous, kailangan negative yung delta G. And kapag non-spontaneous, kailangan positive yung delta G. Okay? So, paano mo masosolve yung delta G from the E cell? Okay? Ganito yon. Sa electrical work kasi, bago tayo pumunta dyan sa equation na yan. Sa electrical work, may ganun ba? Yes, no? Pag sinabi nating work, di ba, displacement. Okay? Ito, side kwento lang to. Okay. So, pag sinabi nating work, displacement, ano ba yung displace dito? Yung ating electrons. Okay? So, yung electrons yung na-displace. How to solve for the electrical work? No? So, ang electrical work can be calculated as ganito. That is the charge, no? Charge times the potential difference or the cell potential. Okay. Ayan yung equation daw sa physics, no? In solving for the electrical work. That's the charge times the potential. So that's Q times the E cell. Okay? Pero sa physics, sabi din ng physics, yung charge daw, yung total charge of a system, that is the mole of electron times the constant, Faraday's constant. Okay? Mole of electrons times the Faraday's constant. No? Ibig sabihin, itong Q na to, we can convert that into NEF E cell. Okay? So yan, electrical work is equal to charge times the cell potential, or Q is E naught cell. Okay? And we know in physics, sabi din sa physics, that Q is equal to NEF, the mole of electron times the Faraday's constant. No? Ano ba yung value ng Faraday's constant? Ang value ng Faraday's constant ay 96450 coulombs per mole. 96450. Let me double check kung tama pagkakaalala ko. Let me double check kung tama pagkakaalala ko. 96485. Pero pag yung iba gumagamit 96450, yung iba gumagamit 96500, no? Gamitin na lang natin yung nasa Google. Okay. So ito yung exact value daw. 96485. Okay? So yan. So that's the Faraday's constant, that is 96485 coulombs per mole. Okay? So yan. So yan yung sabi ng physics yan, ha. Okay? So ma-encounter nyo ulit ito sa next sem. So 96485 coulombs per mole, ayun yung Faraday's constant. Okay? So all you have to do is to get the charge, you multiply the mole of electron times this, you will get the coulombs, no? And then you have the volts. Ibig sabihin nun, if you multiply coulombs and volts, you will get joule as unit of work, no? So coulomb times the voltage equals joule, no? Okay, so coulombs to, ito volts yan. Pag minultiply mo yan, that's also equivalent to joule, electrical work kasi. But since sabi natin, the system will do the work, no? So ganun kasi madalas sa thermodynamics, di ba? The system usually does the work, no? So lalagyan natin ng negative sign yan. Okay? So again, bakit tayo naglagay ng negative sign? Because ang common connotation is that the system does the work, no? Whether that's PV work, electrical work, no? System parati may point of view. Okay? So yan. So this is the electrical work sa physics, no? Ngayon, paano mo siya isasingit to thermodynamics, no? Sabi natin last time sa thermodynamic discussion natin, ang delta G, ito yung maximum work, no? Delta G is also the maximum work in a system. And what is the maximum work for electrical systems, no? For electrical systems, the electrical work is the maximum work, no? Okay? So ibig sabihin nun, delta G is equal to the electrical work, no? Okay? So yun yung sabi kasi sa physics, no? Delta G is the maximum work for electrical systems that is equal to the electrical work, no? So ibig sabihin, delta G is equal to negative NFE, not cell. Okay? Kasi delta G is equal to this, and this is equal to this, this is equal to this. So just plug in lang. So delta G is equals to negative NFE cell. So that's why we arrive with this equation. Okay? Huwag nyo kakalimutan kung paano ko siya dinerive. Kasi gagamitin natin yan sa Sabado. Okay? So that is how we came up with this equation, delta G naught equals negative NEFE cell. Okay? So yan. And for non-standard state, you just remove the not symbol. Asan ulito nang galing? Sa electrical work, which says that the electrical work is the charge times the potential. And to get the charge, that is the mole of electron times the Faraday's constant, 96485 coulombs per mole. Just multiply everything, you will get the electrical work and at the same time the delta G, okay, which is in joules. Okay, so yan. So with that equation, we can now determine kung spontaneous nga ba yung reaction or not, no? Spontaneous ba yung reaction or not? By just looking at the equation, it is obvious that when your E cell is positive, the delta G will be negative, no? Kasi you have the negative sign in front. So negative times the positive is negative. So ibig sabihin, every time you have a E cell, a positive E cell value, kung positive to, automatic negative yung delta G because of the negative sign here. Kaya nga sabi natin, for galvanic cell, they are always spontaneous. Kasi kapag positive yung E cell mo, negative parate yung delta G mo. Okay. So, ibig sabihin nun ay, Ibig sabihin nun, spontaneous yung reaction. And if you have a negative E cell times the negative sign here, doon magiging positive yung delta G mo, which we know is non-spontaneous. Okay? So, dito yun pumapasok lahat, yung spontaneous, non-spontaneous. Dito lang sa sign ng equation na yan. So, if you have a positive E cell, negative yung delta G because of this sign. So, ibig sabihin, if positive to, spontaneous yung reaction. If negative to, times negative dito, magiging positive to. Ibig sabihin, if you have a negative E cell, the delta G will be positive, ibig sabihin, non-spontaneous yung reaction. Okay? So, ganun lang. Diyan nagmula lahat ng mga pinagsasabi natin kanina. Okay? Sa equation na yan. And kung paano ko dinerive yon, yan na yon. Ayan. Okay? So, ganun lang. No? So, that's how you get delta G from E cell. Negative NFE cell or NEFE cell. Okay? So, again, Ne is the mole of electron. Okay? Mamaya, siguro nag-iisip na kayo ngayon pa lang, paano ko isa-solve sir yung mole ng electron? Mamaya, madali lang yan. Madali lang, don't worry. Anyway, moving on. So there's also a relationship between delta G and the equilibrium constant. We gave this last time, di ba? Sabi natin last time, delta G is equals to negative RT ln K, wherein K is the equilibrium constant. Nasa previous discussion natin to. Okay? So, ano ibig sabihin nun? No? We can also relate this pala sa cell potential natin. Okay? So, yan. So, pwede pala sila i-relate, no? So, equal sila lahat. Kasi lahat sila equal to delta G. So, ibig sabihin, this is equal to this. This is equal to this, no? Ibig sabihin, this is also equal to this. O, logic lang yan, no? So, lahat sila ay equal. Okay? So, from this, three equations, no? This, ito. Ayan, so, yun yung tatlong equation dyan. We can get the relationships among delta G, the K, and the E cell. Okay? Pwede tayong makukuha ng relationship sa kanilang tatlo. Okay? So, ano yun? Sabi dito, if delta G is negative, E cell is positive, and the K value is greater than 1. Ibig sabihin, malaki yung value niya. Okay? So, pag ganun, it favors the formation of the products. So again, what is K equilibrium constant? Yan, na kwentuhan natin yung last time. No? Okay? So, paano nagiging greater than 1 yung K kapag negative yung delta G? Okay? Actually, pwede kayong mag-input sa calculator na to para mas sure. Okay? So, delta G equals negative RT ln K cross multiply delta G RT ln K exponential mo yan. K is equals to exponential negative delta G RT. Okay? Ang mangyayari kasi kung negative tong delta G, may negative sign dun sa harap, edi yung exponential natin ay magiging positive in value. And what is the exponential raised to a positive value? Edi greater than 1, no? Pwede nyo i-try yan sa calculator nyo. Kunwari, exponential ni 1, 2.7 positive. Exponential ni 2, 7.37. Ibig sabihin, greater than 1 nga, no? Okay. So, greater than 1. So, ibig sabihin, if you have a negative delta G, the K is always positive, no? Kasi if you have a negative delta G times negative na to, ibig sabihin, positive yung exponent dito. So, e raised to a positive exponent is greater than 1 always. Okay? Ito naman, delta G, 0. K equal to 1. Okay? Bakit naging ganun? Kasi sabi natin sa algebra, anything raised to 0 is 1. Okay? Ibig sabihin nun, if we have e raised to 0, ito ang delta G, magiging 0 yan. So, e raised to 0 is what? That's equal to 1. Okay? So, if you have a delta G equal to 0, K is equal to 1 because exponential raised to 0 is 1. Diba? And E cell is 0. Bakit siya naging 0? Kasi kung 0 to, ibig sabihin, 0 yung E cell natin. Okay? So, 0 to. Ito lang yung pwede mag-0. Okay? So, siya lang. Ito kasi constant yan. 96485 yan. Itong mole of electron, given yan sa equation. So, ito lang E cell yung pwede mag-0. Okay? So, yun yung ating mga ganap dito sa table na to. What if delta G is positive? K is less than 1. Okay? Less than 1. Ibig sabihin, decimal yan. Paano nangyari yan? If you have a delta G that is positive, ibig sabihin yan, e raised to negative number yan. And sabi sa algebra, that can be rewritten as e raised to something. E raised to negative n is the same as 1 over e raised to n. Okay? Algebra lang yan, no? Ibig sabihin, decimal yung makukuha mo dito. Kaya less than 1 yung sabi doon. Okay? So, pwedeng 0.5, 0.25, 0.0 something. Okay? Kasi may ganito yung format ng ating equation. Binibigyan ko ng emphasis yung yung mga ganitong bagay kahit kinakabisado na lang siya. Kasi algebra lang yan, no? Sa algebra mo lang malalaman yung values niya. Okay? Pag marunong kayo mag-algebra, madali na lang to. Okay? So, ganun lang. Okay? So, if you have a delta G that is negative, the E is greater than 1. Kasi e raised to a positive value is greater than 1. E raised to 1 nga is 2.7 eh. Okay. And that means the E cell is also positive. Sinabi na natin yan kanina. If your delta G is 0, K is equal to 1 because anything raised to 0 is 1. And the E cell is 0. If delta G is positive, then the K is less than 1. Ibig sabihin decimal yan. Because anything exponential raised to negative exponent, no, is the same as writing it as a fraction. So, ibig sabihin, decimal talaga yung makukuha mong value dyan. Okay? So, yan. Ito naman yung mga meaning niya, interpretation in terms of which will be favored, no? Okay. So, if K is greater than 1, sabi natin last time, it will favor the product formation. To the right, yung reaction. If K is less than 1, then to the left yung reaction. Okay, it will favor the formation of reactant. What if we have K equal to 1? Ang sabi din natin last time, if you have a K value equal to 1, equal lang. It is in equilibrium. Pwedeng to the left, pwedeng to the right, wala siyang pake. Okay. So, equal lang yung kanyang favor. Okay. So, yan. You can memorize the table, pero sabi ko nga sa inyo, just using the equation, you can actually get an intuition kung ano yung mga sinasabi ng table na to. Okay. Algebra lang ginawa natin, na-interpret natin yung ating table. Anyway, let's proceed. Calculate the delta G and the K for the following reaction. Kunwari, ganito yung tanong, ano gagawin mo? Ang gagawin mo ay, alamin mo yung E cell. Alamin mo lang E cell. Bakit? Kasi sabi natin, delta G naught is equals to negative NEF E naught cell. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kung alam mo yung E cell, alam mo yung delta G. And at the same time, pag alam mo yung delta G, pwede mo malaman yung K. Okay? Using this second equation. Pag alam mo yung delta G, pwede mo malaman yung K. Basta alam mo yung E cell. Okay? So, pag nakakita kayo ng ganitong type ng question sa finals, no, hanapin nyo agad yung E cell. Pag electrochem, E cell agad hinahanap, ha? Okay. So, hanapin nyo agad yung E cell nila. Then, you just plug it to these two equations, you will get the answers. So, I will answer just some of this, no? Kayo na bahala sa iba. Okay. So, siguro itong first two lang sasagutan ko. Then, kayo na bahala dito. I will include that sa prob set. Okay. Take note of that. Prob set yan. Ito, tin plus copper 2 plus, tin 2 plus, copper plus. Okay. So, ano gagawin mo? Hanapin mo E cell niya. Sino yung anode dito? Ang anode dito ay yung tin 2 plus. Ang cathode ay yung copper 2 plus to copper plus. Paano ko nasabing ganun yun? Paano mo nalaman, sir? Ganito kasi yun. Oxidation number. Huwag niyo kalimutan lesson natin. 0 to, ito naging positive 2. So there is an increase in the oxidation number. Ibig sabihin yan ay oxidation or anode. Okay? Huwag niyo kalimutan yun. Kaya ngayon yung first na tinuro ko. So oxidation numbers, pwede mo malaman sino yung anode, sino yung cathode. So si tin 2 plus, ito yung anode. Kasi tumaas yung kanyang oxidation number. On the other hand, si copper 2 plus to copper plus, bumaba yung oxidation number niya. From positive 2, naging positive 1. So, ibig sabihin, siya yung cathode, siya yung reduction. Okay? Huwag nyo kakalimutan yan. Important yan. So, yan yung ating anode. Yan yung ating cathode. Balance the equations. 2 electrons dito. 1 electron dito. Balance the electrons. Kailangan mo ng tigda-dalawa dito. And then you can combine them. You will get an overall equation. 2 electron, 2 copper 2 plus, tin 2 plus, 2 copper 2 copper plus, and 2 electrons. I can cancel out the electrons. Then you will arrive with this equation. Same equation lang din. Pero napapansin nyo, di ba? Hindi ko binura yung electrons. Bakit? Kasi yung electron na yan yung mole ng electron na hinahanap dito sa delta G. Okay? Kaya nga binalance ko uli lang. Binalance ko siya uli para malaman nyo kung ano yung mole ng electron. Bakit? Kasi kailangan yun dito sa delta G. Okay? Kailangan yun dito. Ito yung NE. That alam mo kung ano value niyan. Ano ba yung value niyan dito sa equation na to? Eh di 2. Bakit? Ang coefficient ng electron ay 2. Okay? So kung 2 yan, 2 ito. 2 yung electrons natin. So lalagay mo dyan 2. Okay? So again, ibabalance mo yung equation mo para malaman mo kung ano yung electrons mo. Okay? Kailangan yan gawin. Kasi kung di mo ginawa yan, eto, pag hinanap mo lang yung E-cell, di mo alam yung mole ng electron, wala kang sagot. Again, paano mo malalaman yung mole ng electron? Andito lang yun sa balancing mo. 2 electrons yan on both sides. So, yun yung ilalagay mo doon. 2 electrons. Okay? Let's solve for delta G. E-cell pala muna. Sorry. Titingin na lang ako dito sa aking SRP table na in-upload sa Canvas. E-cell. Dito na nga lang, nasa previous slide naman. So, ang ating cathode ay copper 2 plus, copper plus. Copper 2 plus, copper plus. Ito yan. Copper 2 plus, copper plus. Ayan, so positive 0.15 daw siya. Okay, positive 0.15. Tapos, so, sulat ko na dun. Ito ay positive 0.15 volts. Ang anode ay 10 to 10.2 plus. Okay, 10 to 10.2 plus. So, tingin lang ulit tayo dito. 10 to 10.2 plus. Ito. Papansin nyo, baliktad yung equation, pero hindi na ako mag-worry doon kasi sinabi ko na kanina kung bakit di na ako kailangan mag-worry. Okay. So, the negative sign is taken into account na. Yung flipping ng equation ay taken into account na. So, I don't have to worry anymore. So, that's 0.14 volts. Okay. Solving for the E cell, that's E cathode minus E anode. Dito na yung flipping ng sign, na itong negative sign, yun ay mag-flip sa anode. So, no worries na. 15 volts minus negative 0.14 volts. Ibig sabihin, this is positive 0.29 volts. So, that's the E cell. And once you know the E cell, you can get the delta G and the K. Okay? Let's solve for the delta G. Madali lang delta G. Delta G equals negative NEF E naught cell. Ano yung mole ng electron? 2. Kasi 2 yung nasa balance equation. Okay. So, ibig sabihin yan, 2. Okay, 2 moles. Faraday's constant. Huwag kalimutan, 96485 coulombs per mole. E naught cell. Ang E naught cell natin ay 0.29. Okay? So, 2 times 96485 times 0.29. Pindutin ko sa calcu ko. Negative 2 times 96485.29. Negative 55. 961.3 coulomb volts. No? When you have coulomb times the voltage, joule din yon. Okay? Take note of that. 1 coulomb volt is equal to 1 joule. Okay? So, joule din yan. Pag nag-physics na kayo, ganyan din gagawin nyo. Okay? So, yan. So, that's negative 55961.3 joule. Gawin natin kilojoule para mas madali. Divided by 1,000. And the negative 55.96 kilojoule. Okay? And since you have a negative delta G, that means it is spontaneous. So when you have a positive E cell, negative yung delta G. Okay? Obvious naman sa equation natin eh. Diba? Okay. And since you know the delta G, you can now solve for the K. Okay? Magbubura lang ako ng part ng PowerPoint dahil wala na akong space. Ito na lang. Burahin ko na to ha. Na-solve ko na yung delta G. Okay na ako dun. Delta G. In solving for the K, thus delta G naught equals negative RT ln K. Hanahanap ko K. Nasa loob siya ng ln function. Ano yung pantanggal sa ln? Recall tayo. Recall algebra. Algebra lang to. Ginagawa natin to noong high school. Okay. So, ano yung pang-cancel sa logarithm? Yung antilog, yung 10, no? If you have a log K, gusto mo matanggal yung K, ano gagawin mo? I-raise mo siya sa 10. Okay. So, gagawin mo 10 raised to log K. Both sides yan, 10 raised to X. Yung 10 pati log, magka-cancel out yan. So, giving you 10 raised to X. Same thing with exponential. With natural log, ln. Okay. With ln, same lang din halos. Okay. ln K. However, instead of using 10, ang gagamitin mo ay exponential function. E raised to ln K. Okay. So, yan. So, the E and the ln will cancel out, giving you the K. Lalabas na yung K dyan. Okay? So, ganun gagawin natin dito. Bakit? Yung K nasa loob ng ln. Nasa loob yung K ng ln eh. Okay lang, matanggal siya sa ln. How? You use the exponential. Algebra yan ha. Huwag kakalimutan. Bago natin siya ilabas sa ln, simplify muna natin equation natin. You divide both sides by negative RT. Okay, so you will have ln K equals to negative delta G naught RT. And then you can now take the exponential. Exponential of this, exponential of that, exponential, and ln will cancel out, giving K equals to exponential delta G naught RT. So that is the equation to be used when solving for the K. Algebra lang yan ha. So kailangan marunong kayo mag-derive. Kasi kung di kayo marunong mag-derive, wala lang. Good luck. Good luck sa calculus. Kailangan marunong mag-derive ha. Okay. Pwede mo ilabas yung K sa ln using exponential function, and that's how you do it. Pwede mo naman kabisaduhin to, pero ako ginagawa ko, nag-derive ako. Share ko lang na nung college ako, bawal kasi index card talaga nun sa college. Pero ako nagpapa-index card ako sa student ko kapag face-to-face. Sa online kasi ginugoogle nyo lang yung questions eh. Alam ko yan. Been there. Okay. Pero, pag face-to-face, mahirap talaga ang klase kapag face-to-face. Kasi kailangan mo talaga kabisaduhin yung equations. Nung diniscuss sa amin to, kailangan makabisado mo yung sandamukal na equation ang pinagsasabi natin. Ako, ginagawa ko, walang index card. Isang equation lang, mga dalawang equation lang kinabisado ko sa electrochem. Dalawa, tatlo. Okay. Ang isa sa mga kinabisado ko is yung solving for E cell, tapos yung delta G, conversion. Okay. Tapos yung Nernst equation. Mamaya kwento ko yung Nernst equation. Ngayon, yung tatlo lang yan. Buhay ka na sa electrochem. Okay? Basta marunong ka mag-derive, no? Yun lang kailangan mo gawin. Derive lang. Okay? Kasi most of the equations sa chemistry, dinederive lang from other equations din, no? So, yan. So, this is what we're going to use to solve for K. Plug in tayo. Ano yung delta G? Alam natin, negative 55961.3 Joule yan. Ano yung R? Ang R ay gas constant. Na-discuss ko na rin to last time sa thermodynamics natin. So R is the gas constant. Dalawa yan, 0.08206 LATM mole K. At yung isa pang Ri, yung 8.314 joule per mole Kelvin. Ano gagamitin mo? Edi yung may joule. Kasi may joule ka dito. Kailangan mag-cancel out sila. Okay? So, yung joule dito, kailangan mag-cancel out doon. Okay? So, 8.314 joule mole Kelvin. Okay? O, yung temperature. O, yung temperature, ano kaya? Walang sinabi. Pag walang sinabi, standard state, edi 25 degrees Celsius. Okay? Pag walang sinabi, standard state yon ha? 25 degrees Celsius yon. Matic. Okay. So, 25 degrees Celsius or to 98.15 Kelvin. Matic yan. So, as you can see, the joule will cancel, the Kelvin will cancel. Ano kaya yung mole? Paano kaya yon, sir? Okay. Kasi, typically, yung delta G natin, di ba naka-joule yan? Usually, ginagawa na rin yan per mole. Okay? Usually, ginagawa na yan per mole din. Okay? So, sometimes the delta G is written as joule lang, minsan naka per mole. So, for now, for us to cancel the mole, kailangan i-per mole natin yan. Common yun gawin na. Common yun sa chemistry. Na yung delta G minsan naka-joule lang, minsan naka-joule per mole, pero same yung value. Okay? So, hindi naman big deal yun masyado sa electrochem, kaya okay lang. Okay. So, you just assume na itong delta G natin ay per mole para ma-cancel mo yung mole doon. Kailangan ma-cancel out kasi lahat ng units. Okay? So, ganun lang. Let's solve for the K. Siguro I need to show you my calculator para masabayan niyo yung pindutan ngayon. Kasi exponential to eh. May expire na pala tong calculator ko. Let me reshare my screen. Lalaki muna mukha ko. Ayan, malaki na mukha ko. Ayan. Magsasolve tayo na ito. Paano ko ito ipipindot sa calcio? Madali lang. Ito yung display ha. Shift exponential. Ba't nakaganon? Naka-stat, sorry. Clear ko muna. Paki-clear yung calcio nyo rin para sure. Shift exponential. Nasa taas yun ng ln. Okay? Nasa taas ng ln. Ito yung E na may box. Yan yung pipindutin mo. Nasa taas ng ln. So, yan, E exponential. May negative sign tayo sa harap. Negative. Then, fraction. On the numerator, you have your delta G, negative 55961.3. Then, sa baba, you have your R, 8.314 times the temperature to 98.15. Equal sign. Nakita nyo? Positive yung K natin, greater than 1. So, ibig sabihin nun, spontaneous talaga yung reaction. I-scientific notation na lang natin. Ang daming nakalagay eh. Teka lang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 6.38 times 10 raised to 9. Okay, so that's the K value natin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 6.38 times 10 raised to 9. So that's the K value natin. Okay, so ganun lang. Balik ko lang yung screen share dito sa aking window. Okay, so that's how you solve for the K. If you have a negative delta G, expect that your K is greater than 1. Na-discuss ko na kung bakit kanina sa algebra natin. Okay? So, yan lang. Okay? So, ganun lang. Try natin yung isa pang item. O last item. If you have question, don't hesitate to ask. Magtanong kayo para, although pwede nyo uli panoorin, pero tanong nyo na lang din. Para maging mapayapa ang inyong buhay. Okay, so let's answer the other item, Fe2 plus, Ag, Fe, Ag plus. Sino yung reduction dito? Cathode natin will be the Fe2 plus to Fe. 2 electrons dito. The anode will be the Ag to Ag plus. Isang electron doon. Okay? Bakit ko nalaman na ganun? Oxidation number. Okay? So this is 2 plus. This is 0. So yan ay reduction. This is 0. This is positive 1. So this is oxidation or the anode. Anyway, so yan. Yan na yung ating equation. Balance mo na lang. Combine them. You will get 2 electrons. Important yan. So Fe2 plus, Ag, Fe plus, Fe plus 2 Ag plus 2 electron. Okay? So the mole of electron is 2. Okay? So ayan. Gagamitin mo yan sa delta G. Solve muna natin E cell kasi hindi mo malalaman delta G without the E cell. Okay, so balik ulit tayo sa table. Fe, Fe2 plus. So ito yung Fe, Fe2 plus, negative 0.44. So this is negative 0.44. For the anode, that's silver yun, di ba? Silver. Ayan, silver. Naantok ako kasi ang lamig. Ayan, 0.8. Okay. So 0.8 yung ating silver. Positive. Okay, so solving for E cell, it's E cat minus E anode. Okay, so may not yan, standard state. Okay, so cathode, negative 0.44 minus 0.8 volts dito. Pag subtract lang natin, minus 0.8, that's negative 1.24 volts. Ito. Bago pa tayo magpatuloy, magdalawang isip tayo. Ano yung delta G natin dito? Positive yun. Okay. Ano yung K natin dito? Less than 1. Okay? Less than 1. Or ang exponent nun ay negative, no? Pag nag-scientific notation tayo. Okay? So, yan. Ganun pa lang, ha? Kailangan, bago kayo mag-proceed, alam nyo na yung i-expect nyong sagot. Okay? Kasi pag di nyo alam yung expect nyong sagot, mamaya magkamali kayo ng pindot, tanggapin nyo na lang, no? Hindi pwede ganun. Kailangan sure tayo. Okay? So, ayan. Negative 12.4. Negative yan. Okay, so solve natin delta G. Madali lang yan. That's negative NEF E naught cell. Okay? So, negative 2 moles. You have 2 mole times the Faraday's constant, 96485 coulombs per mole, times the E cell, negative 1.24 volts. Okay? Yan, multiply ko lang, ha. So, this is negative 2, 96485, negative 1.24. Yan, delta G is positive. 2.39 times 10 raised to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 joule. 2.39 times 10 raised to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, tama yung sagot. Or, positive 2.39 times 10 raised to 2 kilojoules. Okay? So, ano ba dapat sagot? Naka-kilojoule ba? Naka-joule? Basta naka-joule. Pwede rin kilojoules pag masyadong marami yung numbers. Okay? So, yan. Kilojoules na lang. Okay yan. Okay, so makikita nyo, negative yung E cell, positive yung delta G, as expected. No? Kasi negative dito, ayan, negative times negative, positive. Diba? Okay, so next one, K naman. Ano yung equation natin sa K? Kung kabisado nyo na, that's E, negative delta G, RT. Okay? Plug in na lang yan. Negative delta G is 2.39 times 10 raised to 5 joule. Take note, kailangan naka-joule. Okay? Pag hindi yan naka-joule, mali. No? Kasi, kailangan mag-cancel yung joules. Okay? 8.314 J mol K. Temperature, walang sinabi, edi 25 degrees Celsius to 98.15 Kelvin. So your K will be pindot-pindot uli, hindi ko napapakita. So negative 2.39 times 10 raised to 5, 8.314 to 98.15. Okay, so K is equal to 1.34 times 10 raised to negative 42, which is less than 1. Okay, so less than 1 siya. Okay, so ganun lang. Ganun lang. Ayun, ibig sabihin marami na kayong masasagot sa finals. Okay, marami na kayong masasagot. Kasi ang dami na nating naturo na equations. So ayan, so that's the energy relationship of our discussion sa electrochem. So still related to thermodynamics. Even yung nuclear chemistry, may thermodynamics doon. Wala kayong kawala sa thermodynamics. Engineer kayo eh. Okay. So ganun talaga ang life. Okay. Pero the more you understand thermodynamics, the more you can explain things happening around you. Okay? Sa Sabado, madidiscuss natin yung corrosion, yung batteries, no? Bakit kinakalawang sila, no? Ayun. May thermodynamics din doon. Okay? And may electrochem, of course. Okay, so yan. Ngayon, punta naman tayo dito sa Nernst equation. Madali lang, no? Basta kabisado mo yung tatlong equation. Ano yung tatlong equation? Ito, pati ito. Basta kabisado mo yan, madali lang mag-solve, 'di ba? Okay. Ngayon naman, 'di ba sabi natin sa thermodynamics, no? Sa free energy discussion ko last time. Sabi ko that the relationship between standard and non-standard states in terms of free energy is this, no? Familiar ba to? Familiar yan. Kasi kung hindi yan familiar, ibig sabihin hindi nyo pinanood yung video ko. Ayan, ito yon. This is the relationship between the standard and the non-standard non-standard free energy change. No? So ito yung equation na yun. Delta G naught, delta G, tapos may RTL and Q ka. Ano tong Q na to? Q is the reaction quotient. Familiar din ba yan? Kasi kung hindi familiar yan, hindi nyo pinanood yung video ko. Okay. So Q is the reaction quotient. No? So for a reaction A, B, C plus D, that can be written as the products over the reactants. No? However, sabi ko nga sa video rin, since yan ay Q, ibig sabihin reaction quotient yan, initial yan, so you have to include the I. Okay? So, ibig sabihin initial yan, before the reaction takes place. No? Yan yung kanilang concentrations. Pwede rin yan in terms of pressure. No? Pwede rin in terms of pressure. So, I will no longer expound on this kasi na-discuss ko na yan sa thermodynamics. Dadaanan ko na lang siya ngayon. Okay? So kung di nyo pa pinapanood yung video, panoorin nyo uli. No? Malaking tulong yun. Kaya nga diniscuss ko muna yun bago ito. Okay? So anyway, so that is the equation that relates the standard and the non-standard free energy states. No? Related to sa electrochem. No? Kasi kapag itong equation na to, minanipulate mo, mapupunta ka dyan, tawag doon Nernst equation. Okay. So the Nernst equation relates the standard cell and the non-standard cell potential. Okay, by changing the concentration. Okay, so by changing the concentrations, you can change the E cell. No, the E cell, you can change that. Ang equation na yun ay Nernst equation. O ngayon, no, bago tayo pumunta sa Nernst equation, let's derive this. Okay, let's derive. Ano alam natin? Delta G naught equals negative NF E naught cell. Ano pa alam natin? Delta G is equals to negative NF E cell. Binigay ko yung kanina. Okay. Standard, non-standard, same lang equation nila. Ang difference lang is yung standard, may bilog sa taas, may not. Okay. Plug in natin yan dito. Plug in. So for delta G, non-standard, so that is NF E cell lang. For standard, negative NF E naught cell plus RT ln Q. Ngayon, let's divide both sides by NF, including the negative sign. 1 over NEF. Okay, so let's divide both sides by that. So ito cancel, ito cancel, ito malalagyan ng negative NEF. So you will get E cell, E naught cell minus RT NEF ln Q. And that's the Nernst equation. Ganun lang ginawa niya. Yan lang ginawa ni Nernst. Tapos pinangalan na sa kanya yung equation. Diba? Imagine nyo no, kung kayo mas nauna sa mga scientists natin, edi sana may equation na pinangalan sa inyo. Okay. So, ganun lang ginawa nila. Substitute, Nernst equation na. Diba? Galing na. Kaya paunahan lang talaga kung sino discover ng equation. O kayo, gawin nyo, maghanap kayo ng equation sa textbook, i-plug in nyo. Malay nyo may makita kayong equation na pwede ipangalan sa inyo. Okay, so again, ano yung implication ng Nernst equation? Mali spelling ko. Ano yung implication ng Nernst equation? Nernst. Makikita nyo, itong Q, this has something to do with the concentration. So, anong pwede mo gawin dito? By changing the concentration of your species, you can change the E cell. Okay? You can change the E cell by changing the concentrations. Okay? Kumbaga, para rin tong linear equation. Para rin yan linear equation. Y is equals to mx plus b. Wherein E naught cell yung slope mo, yung intercept, sorry. E naught cell yung intercept, no? And your slope is the negative RT NEF, no? So, negative yan pag ganun yan. And then your X is the ln of the reaction quotient. Okay? So, parang linear equation lang din to, no? So, there is a linear relationship. By changing the concentration, you change the E cell. Okay? So, ano yung application nito? Batteries. No? Yung battery natin, napansin nyo, merong 9 volts, merong 3 volts, 1.5 volts, no? Pero pag sinuwag mo yung kanilang E-potential dito, iba yung sagot, no? Okay, iba yung sagot. Kunwari, yung typical na dry cell battery natin, 1.5 volts yon. Pero siguro makakita kayo ng dry cell battery na 2 volts. Siguro tataka kayo, mali ba tinuro ni sir? Mali ba equation ko? Mali ba yun sa cell potential? Hindi, no? Ang ginagawa lang natin is ganito. Para ma-increase mo yung voltage ng cell mo, you can change the concentration because there is a linear relationship between the two. There is a linear relationship between the two. So by changing the concentration, pwede magbago yung E cell. Okay? So, yun yung Nernst equation. By the way, di na ako magfo-focus dito sa graph na to. Ang idea lang, by changing this, you change this. No? So, if you want to increase the voltage of your system, baguhin mo yung concentrations. No? You change the concentrations. And then see to it na, makikita mo na At the end, yung E cell tataas yan or pwede ring bumaba, no? Okay? Siguro tataka kayo, no? Paano kaya yun? Kuha tayong examples, no? Kuha tayong example. By the way, bago tayo mag-example, at 25 degrees Celsius, the Nernst equation can be reduced to this one. Okay? It can be reduced to this one. So, ano lang ginawa? Itong R, constant yan. Yung T, constant yan. Yung F, constant yan. So, pag pinagsama-sama mo yan, ito yan. 0.0 0.0257 LNQ. Siguro ang tataha kayo, no? Ano meron sa baba, no? Ang meron sa baba ay yung logarithm version niya. Okay. But sir, magkaiba yung value. So take note, ang log at ang ln, magkaiba sila ng base. Okay. So sa algebra ulit tayo. If you're going to convert the log into ln or ln to log pala, no, ang kailangan mo gawin is to divide it by the logarithm of the exponential. So ganito lang ginawa dyan. 'Di ba naka-LNQ yan? So gagawin mo, kung gusto mo gawin log yan, ina-apply to sa calculus, don't worry. Makikita nyo rin to sa calculus. Pag gusto mo gawin log yan, you divide it by the logarithm of the exponential. Log E. May value yan. So 0.025 divided by log E, that's 0.0592. Log Q. Okay? So, ganun lang yung ginawa nilang derivation dyan. Okay? So, ganun lang. Just divide this by the log E para itong ln maging log. Okay? Anyway, so, saan ulit ito galing? Saan na naman ito galing, sir? Ito ay nanggaling sa pag-simplify ng ating constants, no? So, yung R, yung T, yung F, constants yan lahat. If you combine that, no? You will get this, no? Converting it to the log, ito yon. Ano yung ginamit na R? 8.314. Yung T, 298.15. O yung F, ano yun? 96485. Calculate mo yan. Pinapatunayan ko lang ha para clear sa atin lahat. 485. Pindutin mo sa calculans, sagot ay 0.0257. Ito yan. Convert mo yan to log. Ito yung sagot. Okay? So, yun lang. Okay, so anong gagamitin natin equation? No? Ito na lang. Kasi we are assuming that everything is based on temperature. No? Siguro ito din yung magbibigay ng sagot sa katanungan nyo. Hindi ko alam kung tinatanong nyo ito sa sarili nyo ito. Pero bakit kaya yung battery nilalagay nila sa taas ng kalan? I mean, di ba pag nagsasaing ka, yung takip, ba't nilalagay yung battery doon sa takip na yon? Ano sagot? Nernst equation. Okay. Tignan mo. There is a relationship, there is a linear relationship between temperature and E cell. Okay? Ibig sabihin, by changing the temperature, you can change the E cell. Okay? Pwede mo baguhin yung E cell. Kaya nilalagay yung battery sa takip ng kalan. Okay? Yun. So, ibig sabihin, alam ng mga magulang natin yung thermodynamics na hindi sila aware. Okay? Pero totoo yun, no? Effective yun. Gumagana yun because of the Nernst equation. Because this equation tells us that temperature has something to do with E cell. Okay? So, ayan. So, ayan. Gagana yung battery nyo kapag nilagay nyo sa taas ng sinaing. Wag sa loob sa taas lang, sa takip. Okay? So, ayan. Na-share ko lang. Baka kasi may gumagawa pa rin nun sa inyo. Ako dati, ginagawa ko yung dati ng bata ako. Yung sinabi ni mama. Okay. So anyway, let's proceed, no? Let's try to see how the Nernst equation is used, no? Calculate the E cell of cobalt to cobalt Fe2+, producing cobalt 2+ Fe, given that the cobalt 2+ is 0.25 and Fe2+ is 0.94. Okay? So, hanapin mo daw yung E cell niya. Given na ito yung concentration ng cobalt, 2+, and ito yung concentration ng Fe, 2+. Okay? So, kapag ganito, nakita nyo, yung concentration, hindi na siya 1, no? 0.25 na siya, pati 0.94. So, kapag hindi 1 yung concentration mo, pag hindi siya 1 molar, ibig sabihin nun, you have to use the Nernst equation. Nernst equation. Okay? So, Nernst equation ang ginagamit natin for us to know the E cell when your concentrations is not 1 molar. Let us write the Nernst equation. So, that's E cell equals E naught cell minus, ano gagamitin ko dito? Ang mas madali gamitin itong log. Ay, ang log na lang. So, yung log gagamitin ko, ha? Okay. So, yan. Take note of that. Log yung gagamitin ko. Although you can use the ln. Pero we commonly prefer the log. Okay. 592. Okay. So, ito muna gagawin mo. You write the Nernst equation. Okay? And then, you write the Q. Okay, ito. Kung napanood nyo yung video last time, alam nyo gagawin dito, how to write the Q. Ano ba sabi ko kanina? For a reaction, AA, BB, CC, DD, Q is the products raised to their coefficients over reactants raised to their coefficients. Gagawin natin yon dito. Products over reactants. Okay? On the product side, you have the cobalt 2+. Susulat mo cobalt 2+ yan. Yung iron solid, isusulat ko ba yan? Sa mga nanood ng video last time, isusulat ko ba yung iron na solid? Ang sagot doon ay hindi, no? Solids and liquids, hindi sinusulat. Di sinusulat. Okay. So, sinabi ko yung last time sa discussion. So, yung solid, liquid, wag mo sila pansinin. Only the aqueous and the gaseous phases are to be written in the Nernst equation. Okay, so cobalt 2+ yan sa product side. Kasi ito lang yung nasa product side. Hindi mo susulat yung solid. Sa denominator, yung nasa reactant side. Ito. Hindi mo susulat yung cobalt na solid. Okay. So that is the Nernst equation for this problem. E cell equals E naught cell minus 0.0592 over Ne log cobalt 2+ Fe2+. Paano nakuha yan? Products over reactants. Yung products nilalagyan ng square bracket. Kung may coefficient yan, gagawin mong exponent yan. Kunwari, may 3 dito. Oopsie, sorry. Kunwari, may 3 dyan, edi gagawin mong cube yun. Okay? Pero hindi siya naka-cube. Okay? So, as is lang yan. So, 1 lang exponent niya. Hindi 1 yung exponent doon. Huwag mo na isulat yung 1. Malari, 2 yan. Edi, lagyan mo ng square doon. Pag 3 yan, gawin mong cube. Okay? So, ganun. Okay, so that's how you write the Nernst equation. Product over reactant. Yung solid, yung liquid, hindi sinusulat. Okay? Kung bago lang to sa inyo, siguro din nyo pinanood talaga yung video last time. No? Panoorin nyo ulit para mas masundan nyo. Okay. Anyway, mole of electron. Paano yan? You can rebalance the equation. Pwede mo i-balance uli yung equation. Pero ibibigay ko na yung sagot. Ang sagot ay 2 moles ng electron. Okay, 2 moles yung electron dyan. Okay. So, kung i-balance mo yan, kayo bahala. Pero ang sagot dyan ay 2. Okay. Sige, paano naging 2 yan? Hindi ganito. Cobalt 2+, 2 electrons. Ayan, 2 electrons. Fe2+, Fe, 2 electrons. Ayan, so 2 sila parehas. Edi 2 yung electrons mo doon. Okay? So, ganun lang. Magkalimutan yung basics. So now we have this equation, E cell, E not cell, this, that, that, that. Okay? Ngayon, malapit na, no? Kasi ito ipa-plug in mo na lang dito, ito pa-plug in mo na lang doon. Ito na yung value natin. Alam na natin yung mole ng electron. Eh, paano yung E cell, E not cell? O yung E not cell, madali lang yan. Kasi ang equation sa E not cell natin ay cathode minus anode. Okay, madali lang yan. As is lang yan. Ano yung cathode natin dito? Ang ating cathode ay yung na-reduce, Fe2 plus Fe. Ang anode natin ay cobalt, cobalt 2 plus. Hanapin mo lang yan dito sa table. Okay? So, Fe2 plus Fe, as is lang yan ha. Wala tayong binabago doon. Okay, so Fe2 plus 0.44 negative. Cobalt. Hanapin yung cobalt. Cobalt. I think cobalt. Negative 0.28. Okay, so negative 0.28 daw yung cobalt. Okay, so yan. So 0.28. Ang E not cell natin ay negative 0.44 minus negative 0.28. Negative 0.16 volts. Ganun lang yun. As is lang yun sa E not cell. Okay, as is lang siya. Okay, so ganun lang. Cathode minus anode. Hanapin mo sa table. Subtract. Ayan na. E not cell. Okay, so ganun lang. Ibig sabihin, pwede ko na ito palitan. Gagawin ko na yan na 0.16 volts. Okay? Okay, so alam ko na yung E not cell. Alam ko na nasa numerator yung cobalt, nasa denominator yung iron, 2 yung moles ng electron. All I have to do is to plug in now the concentrations. Ipa-plug in ko na yun sa cobalt. Ano yung cobalt? 0.25. Huwag mo na kopyahin yung molarity. Okay, yung number lang. Iron 2 plus, 0.94. Lagay mo yan sa denominator. 0.94. Okay, so yan, mababansin mo, lahat yan number. Di pwede na pindutin yan sa calculator. Okay, pwede na pindutin sa calculator. Let me share my entire screen uli para makita nyo kung paano ko pipindutin yan sa calcu. Okay. Pindutin natin sa calcu. Dito na lang sa gilid. Ayan. So that's E cell equals negative 0.16 minus fraction 0.0592 divided by 2 moles of electron logarithm 0.25 sa numerator, sa denominator 0.94 close parenthesis. Okay, so the E not cell now is the E cell na is equal to negative 0.14. Ito yung non-standard. Non-standard yan. Ang E not cell standard. Okay. So tignan nyo, may nagbago ba? Meron. Ano yung nagbago? Ano nangyayari? Ayan. Balik ko ulit yung share screen dito sa aking sa aking window. May nagbago ba? Yes, may nagbago. Kasi tignan nyo, yung standard E cell kanina na nasolve natin, 0.16. However, by changing the concentration, na-raise siya to negative 0.14. Tumaas. No? Kasi negative 0.16, naging 0.14 na, no? Negative 0.14. Ibig sabihin, if we continue changing the concentrations, there will be a time na yung E cell natin pwede maging positive. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, there are ways to convert non-spontaneous reactions into spontaneous one by just changing the concentration. You change the concentrations pa, baguhin mo pa yung concentration na yan, you will get an E cell equal to this, no? Tataas yan. Okay? So, pwede mo baguhin yung concentrations, magbabago yung E cell. Okay? So, ganun yung ginagawa ng mga battery manufacturer, no? So, yung mga batteries natin, kung kinuha mo yung kanilang E cell, malayo sa naka-display. Mali ba yung ginawa mo? Hindi, no? May ginawa lang silang manipulation sa concentration. Okay? So, kunwari, yung battery is ang lithium battery commonly 3.5 volts yan. Pero kunwari nakakita kayo ng battery na 5 volts, ano nangyari? Binago lang nila yung concentrations. And nalaman nila yon that changing the concentrations will change the E cell using the Nernst equation. Okay? So, ganun. Ganun lang. No? Yan yung ginagawa ng mga battery manufacturer. Yan yung secret recipe nila. Okay? Yung secret recipe nila para mapaganda yung kanilang batteries. No? Let's try this one again. And then, ito, prob set na to. Prob set na yan. Kayo na bahala dyan. Prob set na yan na. Madali lang yan eh. Ito, sasagutin ko to. Sagutin ko to. Medyo mahaba tong problem na to. Consider a galvanic cell shown below. Ayan yung equation sa baba. In a certain experiment, the EMF is found to be 0.54 volts at 25 degrees Celsius. Suppose that zinc is 2.5 molar, pressure of hydrogen is 1 atm. What's the pH of the solution? Ito, trick problem to. Ito yung mga binibigay ko talagang problem na tricky. Okay? Sasagutan ko na to para madali na lang yung sasagutan nyo dito sa prob set na. Pero expect na may ganito sa final exam natin. Okay? Okay, so ayan. Okay, sagutan natin. Mag-message lang kapatid ko. Anyway, so basahin natin. Sabi dito, yung EMF daw, in a certain experiment, the EMF is found to be this, no? Ano yung EMF, no? Ang EMF ay electromotive force. Electromotive force. Ibig sabihin lang yan, E-cell lang yan. Okay? So, parehas lang yan, E-cell. So, ang experimental E-cell ay 0.54 volts. Ano yung E-nut cell? Nasa table yan. Okay? Mamaya, solve natin. Ano yung E-nut cell? Given parati yun eh. Nasa table yun eh. Ano pa yung given? Yung zinc ay 2.5. 2.5. At yung hydrogen gas, ang pressure niya ay 1 atm. Ang hinahanap, pH, no? Okay, so mag-isip tayo. pH, anong ginagawa niyan sa equation natin? Okay, so anong ginagawa ng pH sa equation natin? Any idea? Kasi na-discuss ko din to sa ating recorded session. May ganung problem din dun eh. Kung napanood nyo. Ano yung kinalaman ng pH sa equation na to? Nasa prob set din yun. Pero POH ata yun, no? Ano kinalaman yan? Sabi natin, pH is the measure of acidity. Ang equation nun ay negative log H+. Itong H+, yun yung concentration neto. Ibig sabihin, kung alam mo yung H+ concentration, pwede mo masolve yung pH. Ipa-plug in mo na lang yan dito. Okay? So, pag alam mo yung concentration ng H+, plug in mo dito sa equation na to, pwede mo mahanap yung pH. Okay? So, basically, ang sinasabi lang ng problem, hanapin mo muna yung H+, then you solve for the pH. Okay? So, ganun lang. Ayun, paki-note yan ha, kasi may mga ganong question sa Probset din last time. O, sa last time naman, teka lang, halongkatin ko ngayon yung Probset nyo last time. Binibigyan ko na kayo ng clue paano sagutan yon kasi wala pa rin nagsasagot ng Probset 3. Ito, additional problem. Ito ko yung nilagay eh. May sinagutan ako dong ilang items, di ba? Kunwari, nakita nyo sa question number 4 dun sa Probset. Let me reshare my screen again. Let me reshare. Ayan. Kunwari, nakikita nyo dito sa problem na to. Probset 3 to. Kung nasagutan nyo na, very good. Pero kung hindi pa, okay lang. Ay, until July pa naman. Pero don't be too high. Kunwari, nakita nyo dito, pH to. That's OH yun. Di ba sir, sabi mo yung pH, ano yun? Yung pH pang H+. Ito OH to sir eh. Ang gagawin ko dyan? Ganito lang. Madali lang yan. Bakit? Kasi yung pH, pati yung POH, pag pinag-add mo yan, always 14 yan. Okay? Kaya nga may pH scale tayo na 14. 'Di ba? 0 to 14 yon or 1 to 14 minsan. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, kung alam mo yung pH, pwede mo malaman yung POH. And kung alam mo yung POH, pwede mo malaman yung concentration ng OH minus. Okay? Kunwari, tulungan ko kayo dito sa problem na to. Set aside natin. Liit pala ng screen. Tulungan ko lang kayo slide sa problem na to. Nahanap delta G. And the pH of the solution is 11.98. No? The pH of the solution is 11.98. As nakikita mo dito, wala kang H+, OH lang meron ka. So, pwede mo i-convert yung pH to POH, then yung POH, pwede mo kunin yung OH minus doon. Yun yung pwede mo i-plug in dito. Okay, how? Hanapin mo muna POH. That's 14 minus pH. So, that's 14 minus 11.98. So, the POH is 14, 2.02. Okay? Now, alam mo yung POH. Hanapin mo yung OH. Madali lang yan. Manipulate mo lang yan using algebra. Okay? So, algebra lang yan. Okay? You will get 10 raised to negative POH. Okay? Plug in mo yung 2.02. So, the concentration of OH is now 10 raised to negative 2.02. The concentration of OH is now 9.55 times 10 raised to negative 3. Yun yung ipa-plug in mo sa Q dito. Okay? So, yun yung ipa-plug in nyo sa Q dyan. Okay? Ganun. Kapag nasimulan nyo na to, alam nyo na pinapatukuyan ko. Pero kung hindi pa kayo nag-start dito, hindi nyo talaga alam kung ano yung pinagsasabi ko ngayon. Okay? Pero yan, pag nag-start na kayo magsagot niyan, malalaman nyo kung ano tong mga pinagsasabi ko. Yung nahanap mo na OH, ipa-plug in mo yan dito sa Q to get the G. Okay? So, ganun lang. Okay? So, ganun. So, again, pakisagutan na yung mga Probset before, matatambakan kayo. Allowed naman yung problem sets kaya nagbibigay akong problem set para ma-practice kayo. Finals, baka magulat kayo. Okay, so ganun yung manipulation dyan. Okay, so binigyan ko na kayo ng tips. Okay, anyway, let's focus na dito sa last problem na to. Last problem natin to for today kasi ako ay nagugutom na. Alas 12 na pala. Ayan, so this is our equation. Sabi nga natin, to get the pH, you should know the H plus muna. Okay? So alam mo dapat yung H plus. So let's show the Nernst equation. So that's E cell, E naught cell minus 0.0592 over mole of electron log Q. Okay? So looking at the equation, ang pagsulat ng Q natin dyan ay product over reactant. Product tayo. So sa product, we have the zinc 2 plus. Yan, isang product yan. And the hydrogen gas, no? Okay, pag hydrogen gas, naka-letter P. Okay, P meaning pressure. Pag square bracket, concentration. Pwede nyo rin naman gawin square bracket yan, pero mas maganda kung letter P kasi pressure. Okay, so yun yung nasa product. So sila yung numerator, zinc 2 plus pati H2 gas. Multiply yan. Multiply mo silang dalawa. O sa denominator, you have zinc and H plus. Yung zinc, hindi mo yan nasusulat. Solid yan eh. Okay, solid yan. Huwag isusulat yung solid. Ang pwede lang isulat ay yung aqueous, yung ions, pati yung gas. Okay? O, H plus, isusulat ko yan. Pero, since may coefficient yan na 2 doon, square ko pa to. Square ko yan. Okay? Kailangan naka-square yan. So this is the Nernst equation for our problem. Ano yung E naught cell? Madali lang yan. Cathode minus anode lang yan. Okay. Hanapin natin sa table. Sino yung cathode? Sino yung anode? Madali lang, no? Kasi alam mo, yung zinc, wala siyang 0 yung kanyang oxidation number. Pagdating sa right side, positive 2. So, ibig sabihin, anode yung zinc. Okay? Zinc 2 plus yung anode natin. Ibig sabihin, yung hydrogen gas, ito yung cathode natin. Ito yung reduced. From positive 1 na oxidation number, naging 0. Okay? So, do not forget the basics. Okay? Tingin tayo sa table. Yung E ng hydrogen gas, 0 yan. 0 volts yan parate. Yan kasi yung baseline. Ano, yung nakapula, 0. Ngayon, zinc naman. Zinc 2 plus. Negative 76. Okay, plug in. So the E naught cell is 0.76 volts. Okay, lagay ko na yun dito. Negative 0. Positive na pala, sorry. 0.76 volts. Kasi negative times negative, positive. Okay. So ayan, alam ko na yung E naught cell. Alam ko na sino yung cathode, sino yung anode. Moles ng electron, paano? Kasi kailangan mo yan dito eh. Ayan kailangan mo yan dito eh, moles ng electron. You can rebalance it, no? Zinc to zinc 2 plus. 2 electrons yan. 2H plus, 2H2, 2 electrons din yan. So the mole of electron is 2. Okay? Balance lang uli yan. Okay? So, ganun ha. Ako mabilis, ulitin na lang yung video. Pero, basics lang yan. Kailangan alam nyo na yung ibang mga ganap dyan. Marunong na dapat kayo mag-identify ng mole ng electron kasi sa balancing yun nakukuha. Diba? Marunong na rin dapat kayo mag-solve ng E-cell kasi last time pa natin yung ginagawa. Okay? So, ayan. Kompleto na yung ating data. Meron na tayong E-cell, E naught cell, mole ng electron, zinc, H2. Ang hahanapin mo na lang, yung H+. Ibig sabihin, magmamanipulate tayo ng equation. Okay? Now, let's manipulate this equation so we can solve for H+. Algebra ulit tayo. Wala mo ng chemistry, algebra. Let's manipulate this equation so that we can solve for the H plus. Itong E naught cell, lipat mo sa kabila. So that will become E cell minus E naught cell, negative 0.592. 0.592 mole electron log something. Something na lang muna siya. Ang dami kasi. Itong coefficient ng log, pwede mo i-cross multiply doon. Cross multiplication lang yan, madali lang yan. So, alam nyo na kung paano yan. Kasi ginagawa na yan since high school. Junior high school. Kapag hindi pa kayo marunong magganyan, kailangan nyo bumalik sa junior high school. So, cross multiplication lang yan. Ito, lipat mo sa taas. Ito, lipat mo sa baba. Ganun lang. Yung negative sign, lipat mo sa kabila. Okay? Basics lang yan. Wala akong ginagawang magic. Algebra lang. Okay. Now, we have this equation. Ginawa natin yung E naught cell nilipat sa left. Ayan na siya. Itong coefficient ng log, cross multiply natin. So we have negative this E cell minus E naught cell divided by this equal to log of this. No? Ayan. Ngayon, ang problem natin, yung H plus nasa loob ng log. Ano gagawin mo? Anti-logarithm. Okay? Yun yung 10 raised to something. Okay? Mag-anti-log tayo. Algebra uli yan. No? So, senior high, tinuturo yan. So, anti-log tayo. Tsaka tinuro ko na ito ilang beses sa subject natin. Let's do the anti-logarithm. So, gagawin natin, both sides, gagawin natin siyang exponent ng 10. Okay? Both sides, gagawin yung exponent ng 10. So, we will write it as 10 raised to negative NE, E cell minus E naught cell over 0.0592. Okay? Equal to 10 raised to logarithm zinc 2 plus pressure H2 H plus. Okay? So, ginawa natin, nag-antilog tayo. Anti-logarithm. So, both sides, ginawa nating exponent ng 10. Okay? And you know, 10 and log will cancel out. Magka-cancel out sila. So, ano mangyayari? So, we can simplify the equation as 10 raised to negative mole of electron E cell E naught cell over 0.0592. Yung 10 and log, magka-cancel out yan. So, lalabas na yung nasa loob ng log. No? So, nakalabas na sila. Zinc 2 plus, pH2, H plus square. Ang hinahanap natin, H plus. Hanahanap H plus. Cross multiply yan. Ayan, cross multiplication. Alam nyo na gagawin. Pag switch in lang sila. H plus square is now equal to zinc 2 plus pressure hydrogen gas divided by 10 raised to something. 10 raised to all of those stuff, no? Mole electron, E cell, E naught cell divided by 0. Kinulang na ako sa space. Burahin ko na lang, ha. Kinulang na ako sa space. Dito na lang. No, cross multiply lang natin ito. Ayan, cross multiply. So, the equation will be written as this. Zinc 2 plus pressure hydrogen gas 10 raised to negative mole electron E cell E naught cell over 0.0592. Okay, cross multiplication lang yan. Ginagawa natin yan noong junior high school. So, madali lang yan. Okay, so, hindi pa tayo tapos. Ang hinahanap, H lang. H lang kailangan mo, not the H square. So, naka-square yan, edi square root mo yan. Square root mo both sides. This is the equation needed para ma-solve yung H plus lang. Ang haba, no? Ganun talaga. Ganun talaga. Okay? Baka isipin nyo, pinapahirapan ko kayo. No. Ganito talaga yung lesson natin. Ganyan talaga yung lesson natin. Algebra lang, no? Dali lang. Algebra. So we arrive with this equation so we can solve for the H plus. What's left is for us to plug in all the numbers. Paki-plug in na lang yung numbers. The concentration ng zinc 2 plus, edi 2.5. Plug in na lang. Sa una lang mahirap. Pero pagdating sa dulo, madali na. Okay? Ganun talaga pag college. Okay? Makaisipin nyo kasi yung college ay high school lang. No, hindi. College level tayo. Huwag kayo mag-expect ng madadaling problem lang. Kasi college na tayo. Okay? Yung units, wag mo na isama. Alam mo naman, magka-cancel out lahat yan eh. Okay? So, zinc 2 plus 2.5, hydrogen gas 1. Etong number na to, kopyahin mo yan, 10 raised to something. Mole electron is 2. E cell minus E not cell, ano yan? 0.54 minus 0.76. 0.0592. Okay? So, ganun lang. Plug in mo na lahat. Zinc, 2.5. Hydrogen gas, 1 atm. Mole electron, 2. E-cell, 0.54. E-not cell, 0.76. Nakuha natin to sa table. Then, the 0.0592, ito yung mga constants. No? Pindutin mo na lang yan sa lahat sa calculator. Let me show you paano pipindutin yan sa calculator. Let me show you again. Pindutin natin sa calcu. Sabay-sabay tayo pipindot. Ito yung display nasa left side ha. Square root fraction 2.5 times 1. Wag mo nilagay yung times 1. Sa baba, you have 10 raised to fraction bar. Ito yun, 10 fraction bar. Naka-raise siya. Negative 2 times 0.54 minus 0.76 close parenthesis 0.0592 equal. Ito yung H plus concentration. So the H plus concentration is 3.04 times 10 raised to negative 4 molar. I-plug in mo na lang yung concentration. Lagay mo na lang yung molar sa dulo. Okay? Ganun lang. Pero hindi pa tayo tapos. Bakit? Ang tinatanong, pH of the solution. pH, madali lang yan. Negative log ng H plus lang yan. Gawin mo, negative log, answer. Ito na yung pH ng solution. 3.52. Mag-digest muna kayo kasi may tao sa baba. Wait lang ha. I-absorb nyo muna lahat. Check ko lang kung. Ayan. Nabudol kasi ako sa Shopee. Kaya ang daming delivery. Anyway. So, ganun lang yung ating kaganapan dito sa electrochem. Ang daming nangyayari. Yes, maraming nangyayari. Pero ganun talaga eh. College naman na tayo. Kaya kailangan kaya natin. Okay? So, ganun lang. Anyway, let me... Ningal ako. Anyway, so ganun lang yung problem. So, ito, prob set yan. Ayan, yung sagutan ko na yan. Ang haba ng pinagagawa, no? Ganun talaga. Okay. And ito, prob set na to. Okay, prob set na yan. Okay, na bahala dyan. O, paano yan? Ala, sir, sinabi galvanic lang. CD, H2, half cell. Sino, sir, yung anode ko? Sino yung cathode ko? Pwede nyo gamitin dito yung diagonal, no? Yung diagonal rule. Kung sino mataas yung cell potential, siya yung reduction. Kung sino yung mababa cell potential, siya yung oxidation. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, pwede mo na gamitin dito yung mga diniscuss ko sa una. Okay? Ito, next meeting na to. So, for the next meeting, we will discuss batteries. Ano yung mga uri ng battery. And, pag-usapan natin yung corrosion. Ano yung mga nangyari sa corrosion. And ano yung thermodynamics ng corrosion. And then, electrolytic cells. Another set of calculations. Okay, so that will be all for our session today. Ang dami nating ginawa na, yes. Papansin nyo, as we progress, no, medyo naging mahirap yung ating topic, pero wala tayong magagawa, college na kayo eh. Okay, so ganun talaga. So, ang papansin nyo naman, dinidetailed explanation ko naman yung ating calculations, no. So, important na mag-pay attention kayo sa ganun, sa mga calculation. Kasi pag in-explain ko yon, ibig sabihin, important yon. Okay? Pero pag sinabi ko, ay, bahala na yan, blah, blah, blah. Hindi naman importante pag sinabi ko ganun. Okay? So, paki-take note yung ating derivations, yung mga in-emphasize ko, especially yung algebra, huwag kakalimutan. Kasi hanggat di kayo marunong mag-algebra, wala tayong patutunguhan sa ating lessons. Okay? So, I want you to recall everything. Madali lang yan, no? Basta alam nyo yung basics. Kailangan marunong na kayo mag-E-cell, marunong na kayo mag-balance. No? Alam nyo na dapat paano nalalaman yung mole ng electron. Okay? And then, yung mga diniscuss natin na lessons, you have more time pa naman to practice them. Okay? Matagal pa yung pasahan. No? July 25 pa, Sunday. Ito yung encoding ng grades. No? So, matagal-tagal pa. Ibig sabihin, you have plenty of time to practice. You can ask me questions. Don't hesitate, no? Okay, pwede naman kayo magtanong. Kaya, ayan, no? So, yun lang. Ano pa kailangan ko sabihin sa inyo? Yun lang, basics lang. Algebra, wag na kalimutan. Pag hindi kayo magaling sa algebra, okay lang, no? Alam niyo ba, share ko lang, nagka-college ako. Ang aking trigo, 2.5. Ang aking algebra, 2.5. First year yan. First year sa first sem. Second sem ay ano kami, anajom. 2.0 yan. Baba, no? Ang baba ko sa math. Ganun talaga. Anajom. Tapos diffcal. 2.0 ako. Integral. 2.0. Pagdating sa differential equation, ulaan nyo, 1.0. Ano nangyari? It took me so much time, no? Para lang mag-improve sa math. Okay? So, ito first year, first sem. First year, first sem yan. Ito, second sem. Ito, second year, first sem. Second year, second sem. Napasok pa rin ako sa sa Latin honor. Magna cum laude pa rin ako. Kasi ang minimum grade naman is 2.5. So okay lang kahit may 2.5 ka. Makaka-laude ka basta mataas yung ibang grades mo. Okay. Third year, first sem. Ayan. So, ito yung mga algebra. Ito yung mga math subjects ko. No? Yung chemistry, mataas talaga dun. Siyempre, gamay ko yun eh. Pero itong math, grabe, no? So, imagine I started here. Alam ko, mas mataas grade nyo sa akin ngayon. May mga daming PLDL sa inyo, no? So, ibig sabihin, kung mas mataas grades nyo kaysa sa akin, dapat mas gamay nyo to. Mas madali ito maiintindihan. Okay? So, ito yung grades ko, oh. 2.5, 2.5, 2, 2, 2. Iniyakan ko ba yan? Ito, iniyakan ko to. Ito yung finals na sabi ko, babagsak ata ako. Inisip ko na baka mag-5 ako. Kasi yung baba talaga ng scores ko, grabe. Pero buti na lang mababait yung mga prof ko na to. Si Ma'am Hilario, pati si Ma'am Macariola. Yan. Ito si Ma'am Macariola. Nagtuturo yun sa engineering. Pag naging teacher yun, the best yun. The best. Algebra, Ma'am Hilario. Na siya, retired. So yan, 2.5, no? Then, tignan mo, ilang panahon pa, naging 1. Yung 2.5 naging 1. Kaya pa i-improve yung math, no? Okay. Ako teacher nyo, mababa sa algebra. Pero pagdating sa differential equations, pinagsama-samang ito yan lahat. 1 na. Kaya yan, no? So, if I can improve my math, kayo din dapat, no? Especially, nung nag-senior high school kayo. Kasi ang problem nga lang with senior high school, iba-iba strand nyo. Mas may advantage ang STEM kaysa sa other strand, no? Kasi sa STEM, ito yung tinuturo agad eh. Hanggang difficult agad eh. Kaya pagdating ng college, alam na ito na lang yung aralin pa nila. Sa other strands, kailangan yung aralin uli lahat yan, no? Pero, take note na lang na, ayan, it took me a while, ilang sem, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sem para ma-master yung math, no? So, kayo din, no? Kaya nyo yan. Tsaka, given na mataas naman yung grades nyo sa mga ito, wala namang bumagsak sa inyo. I'm sure line of 1 pa nga kayo eh. No? 1.5, 125. Minsan nga nagagalit pa kayo kung 175 kayo sa isang subject. Ako, tignan nyo, 2.5. No? Grabe yun. Mga 2 days ako hindi natutulog para lang mag-aral, tas 2.5. Pero masaya na ako niyan. Doon nakakaiyak. Ayan. Pero okay na yan. So, ganun lang. Ang point ko lang dito is, it will take time to master math, no? Pero once you master the mathematics, madali na lang. Okay? Kasi sa chemistry, ito yung gamit na gamit sa amin, differential equation. Sa masters, ito yung ginagamit namin, differential equations, no? Integral calculus, diffcal, no? Chemistry kami pero may ganun. Pag nag-aral kayo ng higher subjects nyo, ganun din, no? Mas marami kayong differential equation. Meron pa nga kayong numerical analysis, so on so forth. So, ibig sabihin, wag nyo ibaliwala lang yung math, no? Kung hindi magaling yung teacher nyo sa math, edi may YouTube naman, Khan Academy. Ito yung aking senpai. Kaya gumawa ako ng J-Chemie dahil sa kanya. Okay. Kung siya sa math sciences, ako naman para sa mga discussions in Tagalog. Ayun lang, share ko lang. So, kung kaya akong mag-improve, kaya nyo rin, no? Lalo na mas mataas grades nyo kaysa sa akin. Okay? So, yun lang. Share ko lang, ha? Kayang-kaya nyo yun. Okay? So, madali lang tong electrochem. Basta magaling kayo sa math. Kung di magaling sa math, tignan nyo grades nyo, mataas naman. Mataas naman grades nyo sa math. So, kayang-kaya nyo yan. Okay? So, yun lang gusto ko sabihin, ha? Okay? So, practice. Sinasabi ko naman lahat ng mga technique. Okay? Sinasabi ko lahat ng technique. Gusto nyo balik-balikan yung video, okay lang, nasa YouTube. And derivation, ine-explain ko siya in details. All you have to do is to follow. Okay? Follow nyo na lang siya. But make sure that pagdating sa final exam, mas magiging tricky ang lahat. No? By the way, I would like to remind everyone that academic easing, hindi nyo pala nakikita. I would like to remind everyone that academic easing is not equal to intellectual easing. Okay? Ayan. In terms of academic easing, ako na siguro pinakamaluwag na prof pagdating sa deadline. End of semester pa lahat. Pero it doesn't mean na pag nag-academic ease tayo, intellectual easing din. Okay? So, kailangan by the end of the semester, kaya nyo talaga sagutan yung mga difficult problems na. Ayun yung aking iniiwan na mark sa students ko eh. No? Kailangan intellectually superior pa rin over the others. No? Okay, so basta ganun lang. Okay, practice lang. Ayan na, take note of that. Academic easing is not equal to intellectual easing. So itong subject natin, ganito talaga to. Wala na tayong magagawa. Yan na yung pinaka-simple version niya. Pero when it comes to academic easing, madali ako kausap, end of sem lahat na. So yun lang. Baka kasi isipin nyo, baka may comparison, no? Ay, sister, ang dami naman tinuturo. Ay, marami talaga ako tuturo. College na tayo eh. Hindi tayo high school. Okay? So, ganun lang ha. Okay. So, yan. So, that will be all for our session today. Do you have any concerns, questions? Or okay na lang tayo? Pasensya na. Medyo mabigat yung lesson natin ngayon. Ang daming nangyayari. Pero ganun talaga. Okay? Ganun talaga siya. Mas hirap pa yan sa mga susunod nating topics. Okay? Pero madali lang. Basta master the basics. Tsaka open notes naman kayo pag nag-finals. No? Buksan nyo na lahat ng notes. No? Panoorin nyo ulit yung YouTube video ko. Okay lang. Okay? So basta ganun lang. Always prioritize your learnings than your grades. Learnings kaysa sa grades. Ayan, tignan mo na lang yung grades ko. Siyempre, medyo affected ako slight yan, pero learning yung pinaka-focus ko. Kasi in the end, yung mga learnings ko dito, yun yung nagamit ko to get this grade. Okay? So, always prioritize the learnings than the grades. Kasi pagdating ng board exam ninyo in the future, hindi kayo papasa based sa grades. Papasa kayo based on what you know. Medyo marami kasing concerns about online classes. Kaya ayun. I would like to emphasize na yung grades doesn't necessarily equate to success in the future. Okay? So yun lang. Okay, so thank you and I'll see you again next time. No? Do you have any questions about the lesson or previous topics? Paki-message na lang ako. Ha? You can send me a message sa Canvas. Pakigamit na lang itong inbox, no? Para mag-notify din sa akin. So far, wala pang gumagamit. Pag nag-PM kasi kayo sa akin, okay lang, nababasa ko naman. Although, not quick yung aking response. No? Kasi busy ako mag-ML. Okay? So, yun lang. I'll see you again next Saturday. So, ingat, stay safe, and kain na ng lunch. No? Okay? So, good luck. And again, focus on the learnings than your grades. Tignan nyo na lang yung grades ko. Okay? Gusto nyo ng proof, may TOR ako dito. Okay. So, bye-bye. Stay safe. And, by the way, let me remind you na kapag, kapag malakas ulan sa inyo, mahina reception ng internet, huwag kayo ma-pressure umattend ng class. Kasi, nasa YouTube naman siya after. Okay. Hindi naman ako boomer na nagagalit. Mild lang tayo. Okay, so yan. So, ingat and bye-bye. Stay safe.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir. Solid.
Sige, bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.